Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the SummerSlam 2018 edition of This Is a Work. I'm David Hensley, owner and creative director of Long Walk Productions, and here is your host, David Two Dogs Hayes.
Thank you very much, David Hensley, and welcome to Rock Hill, South Carolina's only premier WWE pay-per-view review podcast. This is a work. I am your host, David Two Dogs Hayes. Alongside me is my co-host, as per usual, Chris Villano, number 32, Barnes.
Oh, I can't live up to that. That means I'm going to have to do the rest of this broadcast in Spanish.
Yeah, and in a mask,
No,
so it's...
mask is fine. I'm wearing a mask already.
Well... You can't tell.
Also, the qualifiers on top of our podcast keep growing.
Yeah, just...
Eventually the podcast is just going to be the qualifiers. It's going to be an hour and a half of dogs naming things this podcast is about.
Yeah.
Followed by, but only preceded by that buttery smooth intro. That was amazing.
That was fantastic. Guys, we're talking about SummerSlam this time. Very excited. I don't want to say this was the best SummerSlam I've ever seen, but it was definitely, for one of the big four pay-per-views, this was on track.
A lot of fun and a big step up from that last month.
Right. Now, before we get started with anything, Chris, they said it couldn't be done. They said that we couldn't make it happen, but we did.
Tuesday, I'll kill him.
We have our very first guest in studio with us right now, and I couldn't get anybody else but my own son, Tyler Hayes. Oh, wow, I just went off with that.
That's all right.
That was his work name.
Yeah, this is work.
All right, thanks for listening, everybody. That's the
Good
episode.
night. Tyler, how you doing, bud?
I'm all right. It was a long ride up here.
Well, what'd you think of the pay-per-view?
I thought it was very, very well put. I really liked it. I enjoyed watching it. I even enjoyed watching the kickoff show. I've never watched the kickoff show, ever.
I got some notes on the kickoff show, guys.
Oh, I got a page and a half.
And Tyler may be the only guest that is more prepared than we are. So
Yeah, I've got at least 8 pages here.
Look at this novel he's got.
We're gonna hold people to your
Chicken
example
scratch,
forever.
but it'll work. Very excited. I've been waiting since I heard about it. So
We are glad to have you. This is going to be a lot of fun, but we have so much to talk about. We really need to jump right into it. First of all, let's get in on a somber note. Get this out of the way. We had 4 deaths since our last podcast. Brickhouse Brown, Brian Christopher, Nikolai Volkov, and Jim Neidhart.
Yeah.
Jim Neidhart hurt me, man. That was out of everybody that ever came through the Hart Foundation. You know, everybody loved Bret, the excellence of execution, and he was great. I was not a Bret Hart fan. I know I'm going to get some heat for that, but I was always an Anvil guy. And as I modeled my appearance when I started wrestling after the Anvil. It's the reason I have a goatee. It's
well, didn't you say he used to scare you too?
He did used to scare me. The first time I saw him, he got right up into the camera and just does this, wah, and I ain't gonna lie to you, I ran out of the room. I thought he was coming out of the television like that chick on The Ring. It's our hearts go out to the families of these guys. We got to talk about our new Knoxville mayor. The mayor of Fire and Brimstone.
Straight from the pits of hell.
Glenn Kane Jacobs. Wow.
The devil's favorite libertarian.
You know, there's a lot of people that you could have told me would be mayor, and I would have bought it. If you'd have said, hey, Jerry Lawler is going to run for mayor in Memphis.
Oh, man, he totally could have been. He
did.
Oh, did he?
He didn't get in, but... Yeah. But I was like, yeah, I believe it. That would happen.
Oh, yeah.
we've also, this is something I really want to talk about, guys. What's up with Matt Hardy? The dirt sheets are talking about Matt Hardy is gone for good. Apparently he's got some injuries, and they are speculating that he is retired. What are your thoughts, man?
He's just decided to delete his career.
Delete his career.
Well, this is
That seems
really the
fair.
first of hearing it to me.
Yeah.
I don't really keep up with the dirt sheets or anything like that.
Right.
So.
Yeah, honestly, I'm okay with him retiring.
It's about time.
I have never been a fan of the deleter of worlds.
You telling me that is like, okay, sure, because I've seen so many of his matches and what he's put himself through. It's like I'm not surprised to hear. It's like I'm not surprised to hear he's reached a point where it's like, okay, I think I'm ready to stop.
Yeah. Strangely enough, Jeff Hardy still going.
Good, maybe they can punch him. else.
We'll get on to that. There's
Going.
Yeah, man. So also talking about SummerSlam, where was the savior of the company, Bobby Lashley, this time?
That's a good question. 'Cause
Yeah, I was
I
wondering.
don't have time. I don't really have a way to watch like Raw or SmackDown leading up to anything. So I don't know where he's gone.
Yeah, he appeared on he was on Raw this past week. No discussion about why he wasn't there. Nothing. Dirt sheets haven't said anything at least credible that I can fathom. Strangely enough, this guy, they were pushing him to the moon, and then one of the big four comes up, SummerSlam, and nothing. Why?
I don't know, but I'm gonna be honest. Right up until the point you mentioned him, I kind of forgot, and I wasn't sad about it.
Right?
I did not miss him.
Well, no, and it's funny that I said why on this, because this whole pay-per-view, a lot of the notes that I have here just end in why. I've got,
I have a theory, and I can wait until we get further into it.
but before we get into the pay-per-view, we got one more thing to talk about.
Okay.
Guys, I don't know if you knew this or not. I used to work some independent shows here and there.
really.
Yeah. I try to keep it close to the vest, but it's happened. Well, guys, turns out could not resist the urge to come out of retirement. So I'm coming out of retirement October 4th, 5th, 6th, and the 11th, 12th, and 13th. This is going to be a show called They Fight.
Wait, I knew that.
It's some of Shakespeare's best fight scenes. And I know a lot of our people out there is like, Shakespeare, come on, give me a break. It's like, no, listen. You got the wrong idea. This is not going to be some sonnets that you're going to listen to and you go to sleep and start thumbing through your program. No. These are fight scenes. These are some of his best fight scenes. We've got things like As You Like It, where Shakespeare actually booked a wrestling match. And that's where I'm coming out of retirement for. There's some punk kid named Robert that I'm going to be wrestling.
I believe you mean Orlando.
I don't know
Du
what it-
Bois.
I don't know what his name is.
He
I
doesn't
haven't
need to know names.
I haven't read the script. I don't know what it's about. So all I know is he's coming in here. He woke up one day, talked to a director, and he thinks he's going to be a wrestler. I'm coming out of retirement to prove him differently. So, guys, that's going to be October 4th, 5th, and 6th. And then again on the 11th, 12th, and 13th. Those are Thursday, Friday, and Saturday shows. So you're thinking to yourself, well, dogs, look, we're not made of money here. Shakespeare shows in Spirit Square in Charlotte, that's got to be like $30, $40, right? Nay.
He says the nay.
$10. Guys, you can see a wrestling show for $10 and not a good wrestling show.
But I got $10 on me right now.
Right. Well, what else do you want? 2 hours of solid entertainment.
True.
Guys, this is the wrestling demographic. You guys are going to love this. Come on out and see it.
I mean, think about it this way. Shakespeare basically wrote the summer blockbusters of his day because he knew how to entertain everybody from the best seats to the cheap seats. And he knew how to put in a fight scene to keep everyone loving it.
Absolutely. Shakespeare wrote for the common man. And what is the common man? The wrestling fan.
Wow.
How about that, huh?
It's poetic.
Yeah. You know?
That was beautiful, dogs.
God bless. So let's get into it, guys. We got a lot to talk about.
Buttery smooth.
We're going to start off with the kickoff show with Andrade Cien Almas and his manager Zelina Vega versus Rusev and the ravishing Russian Lana in a mixed tag match. Guys, well, Tyler, what are your thoughts?
It was okay.
It was okay?
It was kind of forgettable.
Tend to agree. A forgettable match, a very short match. They put a little bit of build on this. I can't get over how good Almas is. He's way too good for the kickoff show. He's really too good to be in a mixed tag match. He needs to be out there on his own, handling business. I wouldn't put him in a tag match. I wouldn't just singles and watch him do his thing. It's so good, so smooth in the ring. I can't talk enough about him. I see gold in his future, and I hope it's not going to be on 205 Live.
The double the rope pose they did at the beginning.
That, yeah. He's
fantastic.
He always does that.
Yeah.
I love it when he does that. I've always loved him on NXT. Mm-hmm. Every time he does that, it's just...
It always gets some good heat.
Yeah.
And Rusev, with him, he actually showed that he can work a big man.
Yeah.
And he can work his spots in there, and he can still look good. And then you got Zelina versus Lana in this.
That's how they ended the match.
They ended the match. Zelina and Almas go over. Lana, man, she needs a lot of work.
Yeah. They tried. I mean...
I would have kept her in the training center for a good year before I put her out there, because she is improving. She's, I've watched her on a few matches and she's getting better, but I can't be kind about it.
I did make a note of this though about Andrade. What's his name?
Andrade Cien Almas.
Okay. He did a beautiful, I guess it was you would call it a reverse tornado DDT.
Oh, I saw that.
It was so good I had to write it down.
Yeah.
It was
Fantastic worker. I can't say enough good things about him. I want this guy going up against Finn Balor. I want to see some great matches with this guy. I think he's main event status. I think he needs another manager. Zelina, not very good. Anything else we got on this match?
So they're still going with the Rusev can't catch a break thing. Right?
That's exactly what they're going with. Yeah, creative just has nothing for Rusev right now. Mm-hmm. So I didn't hate the match, but Tyler's like you said, it was forgettable. I gave it 2 Meltzers, and I think I was being kind for such a short match. Probably being very generous about that one.
And just to remind people, that's on a 5-point scale, right?
That is 2 out of 5. But now next up, we had a hell of a match with Drew Gulak versus Cedric Alexander.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Tyler.
It is, I was just about to say, it is crazy to see Cedric on this level.
Now, you are very familiar with Cedric. You've met Cedric several times. You've trained with Cedric.
I've met him. I've trained with him. Been in the ring with him.
Yeah.
Not one-on-one.
No.
He wouldn't remember me.
No. I can't say enough good things about Cedric Alexander. Gulak, too, man. These guys burned it down.
They did.
Let's see. Well, I had some notes on this one. Cedric is he's such a great, he's selling so well. Honestly, that's the way I want to kick off
Yeah.
SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Again, too good for the kickoff. Way too good.
Yeah.
But I think it's because I think Vince still has a problem with the cruiserweight.
Well, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
He's always had a problem, though, from what I hear.
Vince is, how can I put that? He's a size queen.
He is.
He likes those big brawny guys, and I might be a little biased on this, but I gave this 4 Meltzers. This was a solid match. Not a lot of story behind it.
Well, it's probably because it's probably going to be the start of it. It looks like it's definitely because I heard the commentary. Gulak was like, "I'm the only one who deserves to have that belt." So
Yeah.
so him losing is probably going to ramp things up.
Yeah. Then we had the Revival versus the B team. B team. Go, go, go.
B is for best.
I became a fan that night.
And
Nah.
you got your wish because I believe
did.
last time on the podcast you talked about them having very generic
Well, okay,
music.
generic's not fair, but for what they're doing, it seemed a bit too intense. I got my wish, and apparently a lot of people had their nightmares come true because I went looking online to listen to it, and I just saw comment after comment of no, bring back. I missed these battle scars. But I think I think it should develop into something more. But for right now, for what it is, I think it's good.
It's a breath of fresh air.
It's a
man.
toss back to older themes, how they would just be something really basic, just a complete hype thing for the crowd.
How funny are they?
Oh,
They're
you
so
know,
good.
didn't think that Bo
chemistry they
Dallas and Curtis Axel had it in them
Yeah,
to have this kind of chops.
yeah.
So good. The white Hanes t-shirts.
The handmade B team shirts.
Yeah, it's they grabbed a Sharpie in the back and they wrote B on there. It's just
I got something a little later. It was I don't know
Oh,
if we
yeah,
should go
we're
ahead and
coming
talk
to
about
it.
it now. So
no, we're coming to it.
Yeah.
So we had B team goes over and
I liked it too because apparently it's something that they mentioned starting earlier. It's like apparently it's like they lucked into their win.
they did the
Yeah, that was-
finish was so
It was great.
It's guys, if you didn't see it, Bo Dallas is not the legal man. He
And-
stumbles back when Curtis gets caught in a small package. Bo Dallas stumbles back, falls over them in a schoolboy fashion,
And rolls them.
and rolls him into position for him to get the win.
slipping
So
on a banana
creative.
peel.
Yeah,
I
it's
believe that was
great.
what they said.
Yeah, so creative. That's good television.
Now the B team is great. I just said I became a fan, but let's not get past. I mean, the Revival.
Oh yeah.
I love the Revival.
I
They're,
do too.
They're a great team. I'm glad they're on the show now.
Their problem is the same thing that we've got with Cedric. They're not going to get anywhere in Vince's eyes until they get some size on them.
Right.
That's kind of how I feel about a lot of the NXT guys that are making their way up. They just kind of fall into the shadows, I guess
Yeah.
you could say.
Yeah, and that's what's going to happen. Well, next up, guys, barn burner here. Rollins versus Dolph Ziggler for the IC title. The first thing I got to say about this is Ziggler's tights.
Okay, thanks.
Yes.
His Rick Rude Intercontinental title tights.
Oh, yeah. Shame that he lost it after he just got those tights.
I
But
know.
I'm glad Vince flipped the bill for that because
Well, it's like
I'd have been mad.
It's like when he puts an opponent's like wife or someone close to him on his tights.
technical clinic guys. I mean, these guys tore it up. The one thing I did bother me a little bit, you know, these guys headlined the last pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Now they're jerking the curtain. And I realize this doesn't, the grand
That's-
scheme of things, this doesn't matter.
Well, it's because the last pay-per-view, the quote-unquote money wasn't on the pay-per-view.
Yeah. I think they caught some heat on that one because I was like, well, yeah, you put the crowd to sleep there with your match.
They did no such thing. What made that crowd openly rebel was the Lashley
Yeah.
Roman Reigns match.
Again, stacking of the card, which I think they did a much better job this time.
Yeah, definitely.
And that suplex outside of the ring.
Oh God.
Where they went up and fell over the rope.
Yes.
So
dangerous.
Scary.
So
Scary.
dangerous. It scares me every time I see them attempt something like that.
And you know it's coming too, especially after having watched that Iron Man.
Oh, yeah. But these guys, absolutely fantastic. I gave it 3 Meltzers. Not a bad match.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. Dean Ambrose is back,
Dean Ambrose is back.
looking jacked.
Wow, yeah.
I think
That's-
the haircut might be part of it.
Yeah, and he's put on about 15 pounds of solid muscle. Shaved his head off, which I know that pleases some of the ladies out there. Again, guys, I cannot stress this enough. If you're going to watch the pay-per-view and you're not necessarily a fan of the new product, watch this with casual fans because they've got opinions that you don't have, and it just makes everything so much better.
And it might explain a few things about why WWE does the things they do.
Right.
Because
Absolutely.
they want everyone to watch.
So we got anything else on this match?
I don't think so.
I believe there was a hard way in this.
There was a hard way, and well, you know what? I don't know that it was a hard way, Tyler. We've been seeing a lot more blood here recently. So are we? Do you think it's hard way,
Well,
quote unquote, or?
I particularly feel like this one was a hard way. Just the
Yeah.
way it happened. I can't remember. Honestly, I can't even remember the way it happened.
I wouldn't rule it out because they did it at the Iron Man match too.
They
just
did?
kinda-
Oh, they did.
They did it at the Iron Man.
Not big. It wasn't big, but they did.
Well,
Just
this
kinda-
wasn't either.
Yeah.
But
Can you guys take a second to explain to any listeners who might not know what that means, what hard weighing is?
oh yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Tyler.
Basically, where you get hit over the head and you actually bleed instead of making yourself bleed.
Yeah.
If you want to elaborate more, you're,
Yeah,
you're the professional here.
Wrestlers have been known to do what they call blade jobs, in which they would cut themselves to enhance
The
their
drama-
match.
The drama.
Yeah.
Make it seem like the stakes are way higher.
Now, this used to happen on a regular basis, especially when there was something on the line. Since then, Vince has taken us into the PG era. You don't see that a lot anymore. Until this year, if my count is correct, we've seen about 5 questionable hard ways. We saw Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns when he took the gloves off intentionally, opening him up. We've seen Rollins. I believe I saw somebody on Raw get opened up. And then we saw it in the, did we see it in the main?
Styles and Joe.
Yeah.
Styles and Joe, that's what it was.
But wait. We were debating as to whether or not that was hard way.
I believe that one was. That was not.
Yeah,
that one-
that one. That might have been a planned one.
Yeah. Where are we going with this, guys? Like, are we in the PG era or not?
I think they're dipping their toe back out of the. I think they're letting stuff slide again.
Which is, it's fine with me. I'm going to watch regardless.
I don't think we're gonna get the fabled Crimson Mask anytime soon.
No, I think those days are gone. But what side of the road are we on here? If we are easing back into it,
I think at the very least they're recognizing the fact that it can help sell a story.
absolutely. But in light of that, let's be progressive about this. And if we're going to go that far, I say we do some female versus male matches. The wrestlers, the female wrestlers are good enough now.
That also raises a good point. You notice the women have not, even on accident, really been busted open.
Yeah. No, I don't think they're there yet.
Not in WWE.
Vince is, regardless of what you think about Vince, he is very old school, and I don't think he's going to want to see that.
No,
Now,
probably
I could
not.
be wrong. I could be very wrong. And I hope I am, because I believe if a guy can blade, then a female can blade.
Mm-hmm.
But it really just comes right back to it. What side of the road are we on here? So that's all I really want, because I'm going to watch regardless.
I think we're edging out into a crosswalk right now.
Right. And speaking of women, this match in particular, pretty good match. I gave it 3 Meltzers. Can't say a lot bad about it, but I can say a few things bad about the next little vignette we have, which is the Bella Twins program.
Oh,
we
the
have to
fans
talk about
really wanted
this?
to see them back on TV.
Yeah. And this brings me to my first one of the night.
It leads to a great
Why?
moment later.
Why are we doing this? The only thing about the Bella Twins that makes it good is they're twins and they can be a tag team and spin around. And,
But
yeah.
they didn't even use that after. They used it like 2 matches from what I can remember.
Not a lot. They didn't use it a lot.
One, whoever was debuting, the other one was under the ring, and I know they made the switch.
Yeah.
That's the only other time I can remember.
Yeah, only a few times have they used it, and then they decided, well, we want to be our own entity, and as we're individuals here. We're not just twins, and which is fine. The problem is neither one of them can work. I hear Total Bellas is pretty good. It's getting some pretty good ratings.
It's a good thing that was their only appearance tonight.
Or is it? Which brings us to New Day versus the Bludgeon Brothers, guys. I absolutely love the New Day.
I love them
New
too.
Day rocks.
Yeah, man, they just get better and better every time
Absolutely.
I see them. Bludgeon Brothers, monsters in the ring. The Bludgeon Brothers went over on this one, didn't they?
By DQ.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So technically, New Day would have won.
Yeah. Yeah. But you know, the great thing about it, and I know you guys haven't watched Raw, they had a rematch.
No?
And we have new 5-time
Oh,
Yes! Oh,
WWE Tag Team Champions.
I'm so glad this is not a video podcast. Although I think everyone else should have had to watch that
You
too.
know what I'm doing out there. Couldn't be happier. This was a great match. I ended up giving this match 2 Meltzers. The only reason I gave it 2 Meltzers instead of 3 is they didn't put any story behind this.
Right.
And I think that's a shame because the New Day is so good. The Bludgeon Brothers are fantastic. Yeah, put a little money behind these guys. Let's give them some story. Give them an angle.
They feel like they like the tag team belts are like the most they'll be willing to give to them. Like I just like in terms of like investment. It's like they don't seem to want to just jump into it. Like, but they consistently get the crowd on their side. They get everyone going. Mm-hmm. They have the moves and they've proven it.
Yeah. I personally want to see Xavier Woods in title contention.
Oh, absolutely.
I'd love to see him grab an IC title, a US title. I'd even love to see him go for a world title.
Yeah.
yeah.
He's way too good for the tag team. I just want to see that just as a
Well,
stable.
they're
and they
just
don't have to win, but they should deserve to be in the mix.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. And, well, I love how it's a 3-person stable.
Mm-hmm.
I love how every time they go up for the titles, you don't know. It's always going to be Big E, but you don't know if it's going to be Kofi or Xavier.
Right.
And I love the way they switch that up.
I do too. And that's something else.
They should kind of bring that back to, because I know there are other teams that were allowed to have that gimmick of you don't know which 2 you're actually going to face.
Yeah.
Well, which we've got that going on with Sanity, the new
okay.
3-way.
yeah. I don't know why I forgot about their.
With
I love
Eric
Sanity.
Young, who Eric Young is tops in my book. These other 2 guys, they're coming along, but Eric Young, man, that's the guy. Moving on to Strowman versus Kevin Owens. Squash.
Not much to say there.
No.
I guess you could say it was a good match.
It was.
It was. I mean, I enjoyed it.
Why'd you have to squash him? I understand that out of the 3 pay-per-views that we have discussed, this has been the one with the most matches on it.
True.
So we had a lot to do. Why'd you squash Kevin? I get that we got to have some quick matches in there, and that match did have to happen, and Strowman did need to go over.
I feel like my theory is, like I said, like I mentioned before, I think my theory is they're resetting everything to head towards WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And I think there's like, okay, we need to get this done and out of the way.
Right.
And considering how many matches just were plowed through, I think it was just like here's a hard reset point.
Which it brought me to my second. Why?
I don't know. It doesn't. I cannot.
But maybe you're right.
But speaking as someone who I'm not able to see the shows leading up. I don't see a lot of the lead up. I just from watching these pay-per-views, I can't figure out what story they're trying to tell with these two.
Well, yeah, you made mention of that at the last
I complained
podcast.
about it. It's like supposedly, and I saw some of the video package of the lead up. It's like supposedly the whole thing was supposed to be like, oh well, Kevin Owens is being cowardly and he won't face Braun Strowman in a fair fight because he knows it would end badly for him, and then it did. And then, but technically, he got the win while Braun Strowman just brutalized him, and then
That was a nasty bump on the ramp right there.
Oh God, it was. Oh, it was. Oh, that was sickening.
There was a lot of that in this pay-per-view.
It gets one Meltzer from me just because they put so much into the story, and then they didn't. No, they really have. The build up to this has been. It's been really funny. It's been very entertaining.
Well, that's what I'm missing then, because it's just like the end result didn't work.
No, and I think you're right though. I think they're trying to just get rid of it because we've got bigger fish to fry here.
Right, and they showed that at the end of the show. So
yeah, one Meltzer for this one. We got a lot of story and no match on that one, so it was the opposite of the of New Day versus Bludgeons. Coming up next, another good one. Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch versus Mella.
I think I just heard all of our female listeners groan at the same time.
I'm just saying, Mella is money, guys. Have you seen her moonwalk?
I have.
You have? Oh, man, boy, can she moonwalk. Ladies, if you're listening at home, did you know that Carmella can moonwalk?
Also, ladies at home, did you know that there's a 30 seconds ahead button on these podcasts that you can use?
Now, Dave, that's not very FABULOUS of you.
Another just great match.
No,
Charlotte, one of the best wrestlers in the world today, male and female. She's all around. Becky Lynch right there with her. Carmella does what she does, and she's good at it.
She was very entertaining.
I can't. Guys, I can't. I know people have real heat. Like not bad heat for Carmella.
I can understand why.
I can't help it. I just think she's fantastic.
You have a soft spot for terrible shit heel.
I do.
For just the sneaky little weasel ones.
Yeah,
because it's entertaining. It's great. It's a good villain.
I mean, when she was mimicking Flair.
Oh,
I mean, the Flair walk, the woo.
Oh my god! Oh, that was
just the absolute best.
And
guys.
then there's another part where she stands in the middle of the ring. She has her hands up and she's twirling her hair around, like just everything.
I'm telling you, Mella is money.
And it was the story they told was good too, because it was from the get go. Charlotte and Becky were like, we're gonna team up, take her down.
Yeah.
And then Carmella immediately messed with that and tricked Becky into thinking that Charlotte had like double crossed her.
Yeah. And that's where the heat started.
Those fiery Irish, they just
they don't think, and and
you can tell she's impatient because you saw her eyeshadow when she
yeah, she goes with a paint roller, and this got Charlotte and Becky going at it, and Becky should have known better. You can't go against a Flair like that. This is partly your fault, but we now have a new SmackDown champion.
And they did something really interesting with the finish too. They did it's kind of rare, but they did the champion didn't lose technically.
Right.
Because I think Charlotte beat Becky, right? If I remember
right.
that.
Yeah.
Charlotte got Becky and because Carmella was out of it somewhere.
Yeah, which
So-
just further story with
Yes,
this.
yeah. So
And I never lost the belt, rematch, blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
And
And then at the end, when it looks like Becky went to congratulate Charlotte on her win, then the anger.
How ruthless are
She-
New York crowds?
And wait,
Okay.
be with me on this one, guys. Becky potatoed Charlotte.
Oh.
So,
Yeah.
and tatered her hard.
There's an Irish joke in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Just one.
Search deep, you'll find it. I loved this match. I loved everything that's happening here. 3 Meltzers, man. Fantastic. We got anything else we want to say about this?
Like, you was going to say something about the
Yeah,
crowd.
yeah, the crowd.
Oh,
The crowd the whole night, just ruthless.
cheering when Becky.
Booing while they're hugging.
Yeah.
And then went crazy.
Make with the fighting. Brooklyn came out to see blood.
Yeah, that's boy. The Barclay Center, they do not play around. I mean, it's
Oh, wow.
almost as bad as MSG. It's
Always out for blood.
oh yeah. This card so far, this card is being stacked beautifully.
Yeah.
Another thing on Charlotte. This might sound completely ridiculous
No, lay it on me.
on Becky's heel turn. Mm-hmm. It might just be the New York crowd, but could they possibly switch it around to where Charlotte is heel and Becky stays face? I mean,
I would like to see that.
They could. I mean, there's still a way to work that around.
Oh, there absolutely is. And let's be honest, it's not like we've never had a Flair go heel or go face in the middle of a match.
Yeah. That's kind of what got me thinking about it.
And that is well within her bloodline to do this. So yeah, that's a good point. That's something to think about.
It was just everybody, the crowd was chanting, "You deserve it," for Becky.
I'd love to see it, and we got an opportunity because Evolution's coming up, so that's going to be great.
That's true.
Speaking of things that should have been coming up, we've got AJ versus Samoa Joe. I had thoughts on this match as we were watching it.
Yeah.
During the last half of the match, I kind of changed my mind a little bit. I was like, okay, started very slow. It was a slow burn.
Boring.
I'm surprised the crowd didn't start chanting that a little bit, but
Yeah.
they were into. I mean,
I originally gave this 1 Meltzer just because it was such a slow start. I went back and I watched it again. Mm-hmm. I'm calling this a 2 Meltzer.
Okay.
Just because the crowd was a little more into this than I remember them being.
It turned around. I really do think we talked about it that night. I do think that these two are kind of burnt out with this, doing this for years with each
Wrestling
other. Like,
each
it's-
other all over the world when they were with TNA.
and they don't. I guess just the WWE platform, it might not work.
No, which that actually brings me to something else. How are we feeling about AJ Styles at this point? The guy's been doing this for a long time now. I remember AJ Styles first coming onto the scene and just being captivated. Everybody was captivated by the guy. Well, he's 40 now. He still looks fantastic. Coming off the rope like he was a champ. He still looks great in the ring. He's still doing his thing. But are people getting burnt out on AJ Styles?
I mean, it is a possibility.
the thing about his no pun intended style, he's very talented, very good. I don't know. He just seems like a more successful Hardy to me overall.
Wow,
I don't mean that.
that
in a,
is- no,
I don't
no.
mean that in a mean way.
I get it. You hate the Hardys. I understand.
No, that's not what I'm
I
saying.
hear what you're saying.
What do they do to you?
Jeff is trash.
We can all agree.
No, I mean in terms of kind of how his ethic and how he works in the ring. He really to me that's kind of what it seems like, and like people love him, and it's great. He really is, to me, from when I watch him, as good as his opponent. The match with Rusev he had, Not a barn burner. It was kind of slow, decent.
And you know,
Nakamura and him blew it out of the park. It was amazing. I thought it was great. Well,
here's
and then-
the question now.
Yeah.
Now we've got Samoa Joe. He's an indie darling.
Yes.
So the marks love Samoa Joe.
Right.
You got Rusev Day. The marks are loving Rusev Day. They can't get it done out there. But now Nakamura.
Yeah.
Now this is a new guy. Fresh. Just leaps and bounds charisma over both of those guys. Is that have anything to do with AJ?
Different styles. I mean, again, I hate the fact that his name is Styles. But different styles. It's just because Samoa Joe and Rusev are very similar in what they do in the ring in terms of how they go at it. And I could tell Styles and Joe were building something, and they did. They did eventually get something going, but it was a climb.
It was a hell of a climb.
And they both looked frustrated and sad.
Yeah, they really did. Well, now this is the question. Could it be that AJ just can't do it with the bigger guys like he used to?
That could be it. I mean, it could be part of it, but that's not 100% certain.
That's what I'm leaning towards, because now we also saw him. He's working one of the 300-pound NXT guys. Couldn't get it over with them either. Also, I happened to see him this past December in SmackDown when they came to Charlotte. Not stellar, guys. Crowd was very quiet, and this is AJ Styles territory.
Right. Okay, it's going to sound more negative than I mean to. I don't hate AJ. I don't really feel...
I don't either. I think he's fantastic.
I mean, there's a reason
I
why
don't feel
he's
strongly toward him. I really
Right.
don't. Me personally, but I know he's talented. He's he's great in the ring. I like Rusev. I know, and I understand he has his shortcomings. And then that match is like, I was still with it, even though I knew it's like, oh, this is kind of a slow march. But I still tried to find the good. It's like this one, even when they finally picked it up and got things rolling, is like there doesn't seem to be a lot of life behind it.
And you know, maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's the fact that AJ can't carry a wrestler like he used to. Be it big man, little man, whatever. If they need some help with in-ring work, AJ used to put on a hell of a show.
It did seem to lack direction.
I think maybe we might not get another year out of AJ before he starts getting booed.
I hope not.
I hope not,
I mean,
too.
he
It's like I said, I really like AJ.
I do too.
but-
I mean, he is the phenomenal one. When he has a great match, he is his name phenomenal. Mm-hmm. But
And when you got
it's-
somebody that can pull their own weight, like a Shinsuke Nakamura,
Yeah.
then, man, you got a barn burner. But when you got people like Rusev, and I can't say anything bad about Rusev because he'll kill me, but
And on Rusev Day, no less.
no, right? Yeah, I ended up giving it 2 Meltzers.
that was weird, wasn't it?
Yeah,
The end
it was. It was.
where it was him and his wife and kid, and
It felt strange. It felt like a retirement party, honestly. And maybe that we're foreshadowing that.
Maybe that's why he got delayed.
Maybe.
Because he did. I mean, we were looking at it when it was happening. It's like,
Oh yeah, that
pretty
happened.
obvious.
he
Pretty
I mean he
obvious.
went. It looked like, I mean, the camera cut away, but it did look like he kind of moved towards the apron a little bit to kind of crawl under. Because I hate it when people do that, but I feel like that's what he did just to throw the blade under there.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got we've got another promo with the man that WWE has modeled themselves after, and that would be Elias. And we're about to see possibly the greatest concert from his right off his new album. We're going to hear a track.
So
Soon to be award winning.
was there any sort of hint about what was going to happen in this segment or anything leading up to it? That
No,
okay. Because
No,
because
nothing.
I'm sure they were promoting the fact they just released the EP of all his quote unquote greatest hits from the shows
Yeah.
that he performed, those live songs. And so he comes out and he starts his bit to thrill the crowd.
Like he does, because WWE stands for
What does it stand for?
Walk with Elias.
It used to stand for We Want Flair.
It did, yeah. Well, Elias comes down here and he is about to bring the house down. One note is struck. The power of Elias broke his own guitar. You're waiting, and you're waiting on him
He
to
just
say something.
he just stares down,
He looks at the crowd.
dumbstruck.
He looked at the guitar. He looked at the floor. He adjusted his microphone.
And then went to the door.
It's the worst Dr. Seuss book ever. Good night, Moon. And, yeah, and that's it.
Yeah.
Which brings me again. Why?
I don't know. It just seems like
I kept waiting for you to get to the punchline of that.
that was the punchline. The guitar breaking was just, he was just like, he just went left and he's gone, just gone. That was the punchline.
We expected to hear an earth-shattering promo like he can cut. And
Come on, I wanted to hear him land into a New York crowd. That's
Right. But no.
He was in Brooklyn. He was in the hometown of hipsters.
Yeah.
He with that gimmick. Oh, come on.
But then you talk, well, this is going to be, we're going into depth on this on Raw. No. No, we did not. It was, no, we didn't speak on it.
Just happened.
He should-
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, if they were going to do something like that, he should have just gone Axl Rose nuts and just.
Now, there was a moment where it was a questionable moment on what he actually said into his mic while he hit his
Refresh my
guitar.
memory.
Oh, didn't he almost say an F-bomb?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He almost said it twice. It sounded like.
You're right. He did.
He caught himself, but yeah, he almost dropped an F-bomb a couple of times.
Yeah. What did he almost said mother.
Yeah.
And then just kind of walked
Something,
away from it.
Yeah.
something along those lines. He was hitting he threw his guitar down, then he hit his stool,
Yeah.
and both times it was just him, woof,
Yeah.
doing something like that. But
Entertaining.
Yeah.
I really love Elias. I need to see the IC belt on him. I think he could be the greatest thing since the Honky Tonk Man.
and imagine the songs.
Oh, the songs.
He just needs to start honky tonking people.
Yeah. I mean, I do believe his album is going to outsell That's All Right Honky Tonk
Do
Mama.
you?
I do.
Do you?
I do. So that happened. Now, we're also going backstage with the B Team once again. And The Miz. And Tyler, I know you got something on this, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Let me hear it.
Just basically what we're all thinking here. The Miz and the B Team used to be
The Miztourage.
Mr. Is that okay? Miz goes on to say how after he wins tonight, they can do the honor and carry his stuff back to the car and come back and party with him. Now the B Team celebrating what awesome win they had.
Decisive.
They
Perfectly planned.
they give Miz's show, his new reality show, a little plug.
Yeah.
Miz and Mers.
I forgot about that.
Oh, that was one of the best lines of the night.
And then they promote what B Team stands for.
And what does it stand for, Tyler?
Daniel Bryan.
Daniel Bryan. B Team. There it is.
Cementing that face turn.
Also, they promote their new reality show, Total Fellas, with a B.
With a B.
Total Bellas. And it's going to be a smash hit.
I can't wait. Where'd these guys come from? I mean, it's
Individually,
just poof.
individually they were okay.
Yeah.
I mean, Curtis Axel, when he first showed up,
I had very high hopes
with
for
Paul
him.
Heyman. Didn't work out.
No. I had really high hopes because I am a Kurt Hennig mark from way back. I love Mr. Perfect, and I wanted the same thing for his son. We did not get it.
No, but he's finding his way. and I
He's
think that's
landing
great.
on his feet.
I remember very briefly they gave him the impersonator gimmick, which unfortunately they did not.
They didn't give it a chance.
No, I
that
wish
was
they had.
funny.
That was-
Yes. because the people they always end up giving who usually have a penchant for it. Because Big Show did it for a while, and Big Show was, phenomenal
great.
at it.
The showster.
The Big
and-
Showboski.
Yeah. There were several of them. Oh, so good. Love those guys. Love this promo. This is a super train on its way to Station B. And speaking of something B doesn't stand for, Baron Corbin versus the Demon King, Finn Balor, and squash.
Did you jumped ahead there?
Did I jump ahead?
It was Mrs. Daniel Bryan.
I did. I'm so sorry.
How dare you?
We'll come back to it. We'll talk about.
I mean, I forgot too, but you were conducting this train.
Yeah, we'll talk about Baron and Demon King. We'll swing
You
back
skipped
around.
a stop.
The Demon King, Baron Corbin, squash.
It was
Again.
The demon is very scary.
They put a lot of unnecessary build on this story with Baron Corbin. Which, number one, I don't even know why Baron Corbin was still wrestling when he was clearly moving towards a non-wrestling role.
Well, because Finn Balor is too tiny.
And again, didn't we do this already?
I don't know what you mean.
With Big Cass? Yeah, no, don't remember him? No. Enzo? No. I guess that's an afterthought.
He's
now.
not Enzo anymore.
No.
He is a
Real one.
real one.
Or is he the Phoenix? Or the Phoenix is the name of his album.
I have no idea.
It's it's number 3 on the charts. It's right behind Elias's, but number 1 still. That's all right, Honky Tonk Mama.
Maybe he'll move
What
down
chart
south and
is
become
this?
Enos.
It's Demon King, Baron Corbin, and again, squash match. But I understand this squash. I get this needed to be a squash match because Baron Corbin's not in a wrestling role anymore.
No, this silliness stretched on for 2 months. Why?
Yeah, and it's the Demon King.
And I say that as a person who's a fan of very stupid things in wrestling.
I mean, I still can't get
That just
past
seems like
this.
fan service. It's just like people wanted to see the demon again. So
He had Baron Corbin comes out there with tight jeans and a tank top, and everyone said, "Well, that look is ridiculous. I want you to shave your head. You're going bald anyway, and then we're going to put you in a button-down shirt and some slacks." I said, "Oh, okay, non-wrestling role. Nope, you're going to wrestle
in that
in that."
what?
Oh, okay. Why? You know what? I mean, honestly, it was a good match. Finn never looked better. Can't say anything bad about it.
I like that they brought out the demon.
Love the demon.
I like how it's not it's a rare thing where he comes out, and I enjoy it.
And Balor has mentioned that because he's been asked a few times. It's like, why? We see the Demon King every other week. Why are we not seeing it as much now? Balor's response is, "I want the Demon King to be special." So you're not going to see the Demon King a lot.
Extra subtext. That's a lot of time to paint himself.
Exactly. Not a lot for that. I did give it 3 Meltzers.
Yeah. It was good for what it was.
It was
and,
good.
And yeah, and it was definitely fan service with the demon, but not bad fan service. It was just like the only way to spice that up to do it again.
I'd put that a little further down the card.
Oh yeah, no.
Like I said, if we're gonna have this many squashes, let's move a couple of these things down a little bit. But yeah, so we got 3 Meltzers for Baylor versus Baron.
Maybe it was meant to be a breather because it came after what we accidentally skipped over.
Yeah, which brings us to Miz versus Daniel Bryan.
Yes. They did a really really intense deservedly really intense build up for that. Talking about Bryan never being able to actually beat Miz decisively in all the time that he's been there.
Great match.
Yeah.
Fantastic match. It was following Joe and AJ Styles. Now, I did think the AJ Styles was a boring match for the most part.
Sure.
I timed it. I watched it twice. I timed it the second time. The AJ Styles match, 22 minutes, roughly 23.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
That's from first bell to last bell.
Wow.
Well, what about Miz versus Bryan?
24 minutes, about.
You know, and this is very interesting because this is something that we said that night.
Yeah.
They were moving roughly the same pace as AJ and Samoa Joe. The difference was the presentation.
And they put so much more life into it.
Yeah. So much. Far and away better than anything AJ and Samoa Joe did in that match. I couldn't have been happier with this match. I gave it 4 Meltzers.
Absolutely.
And that's a rare one.
Yeah. I don't give these things out, just willy-nilly.
Should we talk about the finish?
Oh,
Let's talk about the finish.
love the finish. It was so classic.
Let's do it.
Marie, Miz got chucked outside at that point.
Yeah.
And Maurice, who had been at ringside with their child, cheering him on, he stumbles over to her, and she slips him brass knuckles.
Oh, yeah.
So that
you almost didn't catch it.
No,
It was so slick. You almost did not
you
see
didn't,
it.
but you definitely caught it when he slipped them on because you saw Daniel Bryan charging at him and just bam.
Just a classic good heel going over match.
Tosses does the even better heel thing when you gave him back. She slipped him right back inside her jacket.
Yeah.
He just slides in the ring and gets the pin.
Couldn't have been better. And that's the thing about Daniel Bryan and The Miz.
Mm-hmm.
They're both old school fans.
Oh, absolutely.
And they want to do old school wrestling because that's what they grew up with. And if we could get a little more of that in there, man, I think with the athleticism that our current product has, if we could just get a little more psychology and a little more dirty heels. We're going to go to the moon.
They executed it perfectly. I mean, they left it to where it's to today's standard, but they brought in that old school vibe. Where I'm going with is there was a move that Daniel Bryan pulled off.
Yeah.
He put Miz up in the corner, and I guess it was like a Hurricane Rana type, where
I remember
both parties executed perfectly. I mean, Miz did that perfect flat bump, like
I remember
just
watching that. It's just
beautiful.
You get goosebumps watching that kind of thing. It was great.
So much to say about that match. I
Can't recommend it more.
No, I can't.
Chalk one up for Miz and Merce.
Miz and Merce.
And just proves
Goodfellas.
Just proves the old adage.
Or Total Fellas.
The family that cheats together gets heat together.
I loved it. Moving on to Jeff Hardy versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the U.S. title.
Wait, Tyler might know. Was it after that when we had the Daniel Bryan little backstage scene?
Oh, I didn't write anything about it, but yeah, it was like right there in between I think it was between the Baron Corbin.
Okay,
and
it was after he.
Because I don't think they had a little promo for the Hardy and Nakamura, did they?
No.
Which Bella is he married to? Because she came over and she gave him
Brie.
Is
Yeah,
that-
there you go.
gave him an inspirational speech and
Yeah, that's I didn't write anything down about it just because every time I
think
see
the
him,
crowd
I
reacted
just
negatively. Not as negatively as they'll react later, but
I thought it was the last time we saw them.
yeah.
it's like,
So
that's right. So yeah, so then Balor and Corbin, the Demon and Corbin happened, and
yeah,
then
and then we move on to Jeff Hardy versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Hardy trying to regain that U.S. title. I'm gonna be honest, guys. Haven't seen Jeff Hardy look this good in a long time.
I can agree.
True.
Yeah.
Fantastic match. Jeff just looked like he was in his 20s again. He was quick. He was fluid. He just had a flow to him. But again, do we bring that back to how good Nakamura is?
I was
Yes.
about to say. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
The way he reacted, he was just so disrespected when Jeff
Oh yes.
mimicked what he
Oh!
was.
Oh, how
At the-
beautiful was that?
That was
Guys,
his
a great opening
face
move. They're in the
just-
ring. They're facing each other down, and Hardy mimics him, and he looks hurt. He looks like, why would you do my thing? That's my thing.
it's for a guy that barely speaks English, has such comedic chops in the ring.
He emotes so well,
Oh,
Physically,
just
yeah.
beautiful.
and he got offended right after that and rushed him.
He starts out by doing a little thing on Jeff Hardy with the twist of fate.
Yeah.
And Jeff answers back with the "come on," and his face. I thought he was gonna cry.
He looked.
He,
It looked like it cut him to the soul.
you know what? I give that all the credit to Japanese wrestling.
Absolutely, Japanese wrestling has really come up, man. I believe me and David Hensley's wife were talking a few months ago about how we weren't really fans of Chris Jericho anymore because he's gotten too old, and you can see the slowness starting to creep in on him. But then he shows up in New Japan, and guys, 5-star match. It was the Chris Jericho of old. It was the Lionheart Chris Jericho.
Oh,
It was something to behold.
The man of 1,004 holds.
I mean, I'm surprised he didn't bring Ralphus out there with him. 3 stars for this match. So good. Let's talk about the end for a second.
Yeah.
So Nakamura goes over. You want to talk about it, Tyler? Go ahead.
So Jeff sets him up for a swanton.
Mm-hmm.
This is just how I remember it, but he sets him up for a swanton. Nakamura crawls out onto the apron.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff, looking like he's 20 again.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right. I almost forgot about. Oh no.
You know,
So brutal.
now they have these new posts now where you can put both feet.
Yeah. Which I'm sure the guys are just elated with.
Yeah. You gotta be. It's like I've seen how many times that they've almost killed themselves
Yeah.
trying to stand on one of those.
Surprisingly, we still have Botchamania out there. Go
Yeah.
figure. Anyway.
Yeah, so he moves over and takes the nastiest. I lost my breath when I saw it.
His he collides with his left shoulder, left back against that
And
apron.
all lower back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was and
Oh, it made me sick to watch it. Now,
I can't believe Jeff Hardy died.
Spoiler. No, for guys that don't know, that's the hardest part of a wrestling ring is that outside apron. Now, admittedly, this is WWE and they've got extra padding right there. Still,
no.
I would not be comfortable doing that on such a tiny amount of space when you've got nothing but gravity.
Somehow, that felt worse than almost every other high dive I've ever seen him do.
Yeah.
There was something about that just felt like, oh, maybe it's because he's getting older. He's older. It's like, but I've seen him take these ridiculous dives from tops of ladders and all the TLC matches he's done and all the just random shit he's climbed to just hop off, and just that it was just about how like 3-5 foot drop.
Oh, it's about a 5 foot drop.
About a 5 foot drop, just
maybe even 4.5. It's not
onto his back to the apron. It was sickening.
Yeah.
It was.
It kind of made you hurt when you see it.
Yeah.
It made me hurt. My back hurt all night after that.
Maybe it's because it was
thinking
just
about
more
it.
relatable. Because it's like, I slip on something and that's potentially something I could do to myself. Maybe it just seems more relatable and less like, I see a guy jump off a ladder. It's like, oh, neat.
Yeah,
was
I'm
incredible.
never gonna do that. That's
never going to happen. That looked like it hurt. Cool.
Yeah.
Do it again.
I wonder how Jeff Hardy feels every day when he wakes up.
Because
He's 38 now, 39.
He's getting up there. I don't know right offhand.
That's what I'm here for, guys.
There we go. But it was SummerSlam. This is one of the big four. If you're going to break out something like that.
Yeah.
Well,
He's
had
40.
okay.
Oh, God, it was so bad. But then, go ahead. I'll let you finish, Tyler.
Oh yeah, well they're it's not the first time he's done something stupid like this at SummerSlam.
No.
Well, in general, but they had, I believe it was one of the first TLC matches or the second one at a SummerSlam. I don't remember which one. It might have been 2000.
Go on, refresh my memory.
Well, it was the triple.
Threat with
The triple,
Christian and
yeah,
Dudley's.
yeah.
Oh, right.
And he
okay,
jumped
okay.
off that 20-foot ladder onto the concrete.
Yeah. And just splat.
Yeah.
And he became stuff on a rock. And
I'm not sure where I was going with that. I just felt it's kind of ironic that SummerSlam he likes to pull these things out.
yeah. Again, he's never looked better in this match.
You're right. It was SummerSlam 2000.
Look at you. I'm so proud of you. How come? Okay, so why did we do so bad in school, Tyler? Why do I have to stay on to you so much, and you can pull this stuff out?
Because they didn't teach the history of TLC.
Because I was watching wrestling.
Yeah, don't have time for homework. TLC's coming up. I gotta watch the Hardys. After this match, Nakamura goes over, and you start hearing voices in your head.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
I
this.
thought that was
Here.
called thinking.
And here comes the Viper, Randy Orton.
The
He
ball
makes
killer.
his slow walk to the ring. And you're thinking, oh boy, here we go. Every
I
single
hope he
time
wore a
he's
cup
come
this
out.
time, Hardy.
Right. Every single time he's done something disgusting to
Right.
Jeff.
Oh, this one, yeah.
And he got all the way down to the apron. And then he turned around. And he went back to the dressing room.
I don't know if that was planned or if it was because Jeff Hardy was pretty dead at the end
Yeah.
of that. Like, he was, like, I don't know if he was meant to be sort of getting up and getting to his feet like before. Because after that spot and Nakamura finished him, he was just on the mat.
He
Just-
wasn't moving.
He was, I don't know where he thought he was, but he...
I mean, I wouldn't be either.
No.
It's not like that was a off the cuff spot. They clearly something like that. They have to okay it, and then they had their finisher. You knew he was okay because he popped up
He did.
after Randy took it to the house.
Right. Yeah. I almost forgot. Yeah. He popped up and started clapping.
Yeah, which again begs the question, why? Now, again, you would think, well, they're going to explain why he went down the ring, turned around, and came back on Raw the next night. No, they did not. No explanation about it. Nothing. It just happened. So,
He just walked into the back past Elias, who was just still staring at his broken guitar.
So this brings us to our semi-main event. Rowdy Ronda Rousey versus the goddess of the WWE and your Raw Women's Champion, Alexa Bliss.
I am legitimately sorry that I missed this match.
Yeah. Squash.
Well, I blinked a couple of times and almost missed it.
Another thing, stiff.
Yeah.
Very stiff. We got to settle Ronda down. Now, Alexa, she's so good. She looked like she was in there for the fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Boy, we gotta settle Ronda down because I think she was a little too hype, and
I think she was a little too excited. Yeah.
she was jerking that girl around
She
like she
ragdolled.
was.
She
Yeah,
ragdolled.
I mean,
I was
Alexa
pretty
Bliss looked like a leather jacket that was just flying around the ring.
She had her. What was it? An arm? Not an arm bar every time, but there were a couple of moves she had with the arm.
Yeah.
Jerked her around. I thought a shoulder was coming out of socket.
Yeah, it
No.
was kind of scary looking.
It was. Now, the great thing about Alexa Bliss is she is double jointed in her arms. And no, this is legit.
No,
she can bend her elbow backwards.
Good,
And,
okay.
so she can, and she's done a couple of spots with that, which make for just awesome television. She doesn't break it out a lot, which I love. But yeah,
That's good though. It gives the audience time to forget and they can, wow them with it again.
she broke it out in this one.
Kind of had to,
Yeah, and
because otherwise something was getting broke.
boy, we got Ronda grabbed her arm, flips her around, just jerks her from one end of the ring to the other, puts her in an arm bar as she taps, and we are going to the house. I wish I had got the time on that one. Couldn't have been probably the quickest women's match we've ever had.
Recent history.
When I was fast forwarding through the commercials, the second time watching third, I missed it.
Yeah.
I was like, it was just like there's something I wish they had done more with, and that was a couple of times Alexa moved like, I'm just gonna leave because if I get counted out, it'll still be my title.
Yeah.
They teased that a couple of times. I feel like she should have like gone for it and had Ronda like drag her back or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, because they also in a very touching moment they had Natalya come to the ring and she was wearing Neidhart's jacket.
Yeah. Yeah. Very sad.
They could have teased her going for it, Natalya dragging her back.
Yeah. And on just put a little footnote on that.
Yeah.
Because you get that. Because they are, Rousey and Natalya are legitimately really good friends.
Right. Right.
And then we have the Bellas again.
Oh my God. The crowd was now. I'll say that the crowd did not care how long that match was. They loved it, and they loved the fact
Yeah.
Rousey was champ. And then her other good friends, the Bellas, came in to congratulate her. And as soon as they hit the ring and started hugging,
They started booing.
Again, New York crowd, ruthless.
keep it real.
Yeah.
They when they don't want to see something, they'll let you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I rarely agree with a New Yorker. But I think we were simpatico that night. I did not want to see the Bellas either. Even though this was a squash match, the build on this has been phenomenal. The story was great. Alexa
Killed it.
just absolutely killed it. Ronda, she's getting better every time she gets in the ring. I would like to settle her down. Let's not get too excited about this. Let's remember it's a work.
You don't like your set to rambunctious gorilla?
Yeah.
I kind of feel like Alexa was supposed to go over in this, and Ronda just in the middle of the match said, "We're
Who was
changing
gonna
the finish."
Who was gonna stop her?
Exactly. Paul Heyman has said that on several occasions about Lesnar. Brock Lesnar does what Brock Lesnar wants to. He did a little thing about that, about The Undertaker when that fiasco happened. Yeah, that's fun. That's fun to think about. I would like to think that Ronda Rousey does what Ronda
She
Rousey
just walks in the back.
wants.
This is mine now.
Maybe she should be the next client of Paul Heyman.
It's been addressed.
On that
Yeah.
note of Ronda does what Ronda wants, not to disparage her good looks, maybe Ronda
Yeah.
should want to not follow Becky Lynch's example with the eyeliner. Because I said it when we were watching it, she walked out there looking like Divine.
And you know, I was about to bring it up myself.
And there were numerous close-ups of her, and it's just like, got that angry brow, and it's just like, with that, it's just, oh no.
Yeah, no, it couldn't have been. The Becky Lynch style mascara. Just ran over it with a paint roller, and
Did her no favors.
no.
Just,
And you know, I'll tell you a testament to it. My wife, who absolutely loves everything that is Ronda Rousey, when Ronda comes out, my wife does probably the most Southern thing a female can do, and she's not even Southern. She's from Pittsburgh. So as she looks at Ronda, she saw the makeup, and she goes, "Oh, honey."
bless her heart.
And she, again, I said, all right, so let's work on the makeup there.
But we can put that behind not trying to kill her.
Yeah, let's learn how to not jerk the goddess's arm out of her socket
Yeah.
first. If we have time after that, we'll work on the
We'll
makeup.
work on contouring. It's cool.
I gave this match 3 Meltzers. I understand it was a squash. The story was great. It needed to be a squash.
Yeah,
That's
I
what
can say
this
that.
called for. A little disappointed that they made it the. I don't like squashes for my semi-main. Again, I understand. We're in one of those very interesting situations where Ronda's the draw here for SummerSlam. She does need to lose this decisively. We've got more matches than we've had any time this year except for WrestleMania.
And this show still ran 4 hours.
Yeah, this was a long show, guys.
6 hours if you stuck around for the pre-show.
Whereas the last show ended at 10:30.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I get it.
And you know that because there was a timer.
Yeah. Oh, boy, that debacle. So, this brings us to our main event. Roman Reigns versus the reigning, defending, undisputed WWE, or I'm sorry, Universal Champion. Yeah.
Good, you got it all in.
Brock Lesnar. I think I'm going to break out into a Paul Heyman impression before too long if we keep doing it this way.
I'm fine.
Ladies and gentlemen. But
You have to put more... Ladies and gentlemen. You have to...
you know,
You have to...
I don't do impressions.
you know...
If I may address you for one moment, sir. You know,
Yours is gentler than him.
it is. Maybe we edit this in post. Huh?
No. It's all going in.
Roman versus Brock.
Before we get to your rating, I'm just going to rate it better than it had any right to be.
Yeah, I could not agree
That
with
is-
that more. That's great. Tyler. What are your thoughts?
Roman tapped. I don't care. That was
I call that a tap where I come from.
now that's getting a little bit of a head, but why must they start every match with their finishers?
Yeah,
Because they got to show how brutal it's going to be. Because if they're
Well-
busting them out that early, then that means it's only going to get harder from there. And oh my
but
god,
it never does.
No. you've and the tension is thwarted.
I will say this much for this match. This is the best that Roman Reigns has looked on a pay-per-view this year.
Yes.
With a,
I feel like they knew going
Yeah.
in. It's like they knew. It's like, okay, we gotta. The crowd has hated this every time, and they hated it at the start too. They
Yeah.
booed Roman coming in.
they absolutely
Booed
did.
Brock.
And I'll say, you know what? Brock looked great.
He did.
Yeah.
Brock's dropped looked like about 30 or 40 pounds.
Get ready for that fight.
Yeah, he's cutting weight. I can't. There's a lot of good stuff. I realize it's repetitive.
And they even threw in something pretty interesting at the start as,
Yeah.
as an extra thing, because who comes out but Money in the Bank holder Braun Strowman.
Monster in the bank.
But I'm sorry, excuse me. I don't want him to kill me. It would be so easy.
Which what was the comment that you made when you saw him walking down with his briefcase?
I forgot.
I believe it goes back to an old Beatles song, "Man About Town."
He was going on about his wrestling business.
Goodbye, honey.
I just somehow convince him to do the Vince McMahon strut when he walks out with that briefcase.
Yeah.
I didn't say I would love to just see him in a patchwork suit that looks like his pants.
Yes.
Corporate Braun.
Corporate Braun. I just want to. I want him to be selling vacuum cleaners now. It's
Who wouldn't buy from him? You don't have to demonstrate it. I believe you.
Guys, I don't have anything bad to say about this
No.
match. This gave the crowd
Yeah.
what they wanted,
Almost entirely, but
but still kept some story.
a bit. Yeah. It was like, okay, they did kind of bait them a little bit, because when Braun came out, he said, "I'm gonna stand out here and watch this match, and then when you're done, I'm cashing in."
Yes.
He told them straight up what he was gonna do, and then proceeds to just get out of the ring and just and then wait.
And there was a move here that I believe Brock did that he knocked down Strowman, grabbed his briefcase, and tossed it.
Beat him with it first.
Beat him.
Yeah, he beat him with it, and then he tosses it all the way up to the top of the ramp,
It's like, can't cash in what you don't have.
which I don't mind telling you scared the bejesus out of me because, and maybe it's just being in the ring that I have this fright of what if that goes in the audience.
Oh, what are you saying? Brock is kind of careless sometimes?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
What? Give several examples. How?
Well, let's start with the last pay-per-view when he threw the ladder up the ramp.
I don't remember
my
that, and neither do the
God.
5 people it hit.
I will say about Roman, he was sandbagging,
Yes.
Brock.
It was evident.
not giving him no leeway on those suplexes.
I don't know if he. I don't know if he was just being a dick or if he was just like not forgetting, because I could see either of those being an option.
But you see that now. It's funny that you bring up sandbagging because I distinctly remember when it was that fateful night, Roman Reigns versus The Undertaker, when it looked to me like he was sandbagging Taker too.
Now, just in case people who listen don't know what sandbagging is.
Go ahead.
It's basically you're not giving the other wrestler any leeway. You are not jumping with the move.
You're not helping.
You're not helping at all.
Because for moves like suplexes and like pile drivers, you have to help a little bit to get the momentum up.
You got to at least give them 25%.
Yeah. Because as strong as some of these guys are, it's still hard to lift.
If they
another
don't
full-grown
want to
man.
be lifted,
Yeah.
they're not going to be lifted.
Right.
And I mean, like a bag of sand. I mean,
Yeah.
bag of sand. I don't know if you've ever carried a bag of sand, but it's
Plus, when you're helping, it helps.
It's pretty heavy.
pretty heavy.
Plus, when you're helping, it makes the move look better and more dramatic.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It kind of looks sloppy when you
Yeah.
don't.
It seemed very clear to me that he was sandbagging. Why? Who knows? Maybe him and Lesnar don't really get along.
Still, I would think he'd want to help make, because what ended up being his victory look good.
Yeah. Maybe he was just tired. Maybe he's injured. Who knows? But it seemed...
Maybe he's thinking about stuff. Who knows?
And you know what? Maybe we're all wrong, and maybe he wasn't sandbagging him. Maybe
He just looks terrible.
because his German, it is just a German. So that's just German suplex just over the back, and
Right.
Yeah. It just kind of looked like Brock struggled a little bit.
it
with
did. It did. Of course, now it also could be he has cut a lot of weight. Maybe
Yeah,
he's cut a little bit of muscle, but
Possibly.
it's something to think about.
But
Go ahead.
despite that, they somehow managed to play to all their strengths in the match.
They absolutely did. Everybody hit their moves
Yeah.
that they wanted to hit. Some of them more than a few times. You know what? It's a good name. It's a good main event.
It was.
And I'm no fan of Lesnar's or Roman's, but they did business and they did it right. Roman is your new Universal Champion
For now.
for now.
They had an interesting way of skirting around the Strowman. I said Broman. I said
I thought we're all stumbling over our words tonight.
Braun
It's Friday. It's time to go drink.
Strowman. We mentioned Lesnar attacked Strowman. Interestingly, the way he kicked that off was, I forget how, but Roman was running at Brock, and Brock used that momentum to throw him into Strowman.
Yeah.
And that started the attack. Mm-hmm. And it was like Brock pressed it, knocked him out. So Strowman was a non-factor for the rest of the match.
Right.
Still lost, but that was how they kind of a bait. Is like ha, you're going to see Strowman cash in, and he's definitely going to win. Oh no, he's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good way. I think that was a good way to hype the crowd and still not have to deliver on it.
Right. No,
I mean,
this match
ultimately.
delivered everything that it needed to.
And
We've left story. We've left. We've got angles, which brings me to the main of Raw the next night.
I will say one thing before you jump there. Is like,
Go ahead.
The one is like this is, I think, the best case scenario for how they gave Roman the title and not had him get booed out of the building, because they were so happy Lesnar finally dropped that title.
Mm-hmm.
They were cheering and they did not care it was Roman.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, I didn't either
Yeah.
for that moment. Now, Monday, we opened the show with Roman and his title, and then it sets in. And we're like,
Oh yeah. Right.
Got a bad feeling in your stomach there.
yeah, Roman's our champion. I forgot.
Because you're not going to get matches like those every time.
Yeah. So now I'm just going to skip ahead to the main event here. It's supposed to be Roman versus Finn Balor.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of potential there.
All right. Yeah.
Well, Roman comes out with none other than Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose to the Shield music.
Mm-hmm.
And they surround the ring and they beat Strowman down. Now, guys, this is good television. This is where people... I am guilty of this as well. There was a time when everybody, and I do mean everybody, loved Roman Reigns, me included. Mm-hmm. And that's when he was with the Shield.
Right.
Once the Shield broke up and Roman went out on his own, you started seeing his flaws. And there are a lot. But if we put the Shield back together as a heel faction, well, that masks his flaws. That means Roman Reigns gets to hit his good spots. And his flaws are covered up by Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. I'm more than okay with this. If they'll keep this storyline, I'm back on the Roman Reigns train.
I'll agree with that.
Hope it works.
I love the Shield.
I do too.
That was another great 3-person stable.
Absolutely.
I mean, you have Dean Ambrose, the mouth.
Yeah.
You have Seth Rollins. What would Seth Rollins be?
Oh,
The
he's
architect?
your
The architect.
He's
Yeah.
your architect. He's your technical master.
And then Roman, the muscle.
Yeah.
I mean,
Silent muscle.
there's no need for him to speak.
Never.
yeah.
Just leave it to Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. I mean, Rollins can do it
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
He's
I have no problems with this whatsoever. I think this is a match made in heaven. Will they go with it? Will they tease it? Will they stay with it? That's the question.
yeah. Let's hope they keep it going.
Yeah. Guys, all in all, this was a really good pay-per-view. I gave this whole thing 3 Meltzers.
The entire pay per view.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, here's the question: where do we go from here? We've. Thanks for your input.
Sorry, I was just passing on a note from creative.
Oh, okay. No, we've got. So we've got Rousey, that's coming in as your new women's champion.
Yeah.
Untested. She is going to be full-time on Raw now. That makes for an interesting story.
All right. Yeah.
Where can we go with that? There are a lot of questions. We've got the Shield possibly coming back. We still have the Monster in the Bank. Predictions. What do we see? What our next pay-per-view is going to be? Oh yeah,
Hell in a Cell. Isn't it?
Hell in a Cell.
Well, for Rousey, I mean, don't know. I don't know if they're gonna build back to a rematch with Bliss or.
Well, I think we're going to have to build back to that. But, last year we saw the very first Hell in the Cell women's match.
Yeah.
Was it last year?
I think it was last
It might
year.
have been last year. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was. Is this match worthy of Hell in the Cell? Keep in mind, we've got Evolution coming up in October, like one pay-per-view after this. They're going to have to bring thunder on this.
I don't know.
Because if they don't do a good job and they don't get good ratings and they don't really put everything they got into it, then we're never going to see Evolution again.
I don't know if it's just the two of them could be a Hell in a Cell.
No, I think it's going to have to be. I dare say, if you're going to do a women's Hell in a Cell match, then this may have to go back to Charlotte, Becky, and Mella. So,
Yes.
and possibly even another female in the mix. Who would you get? Who could be another one for that? Well, one person that we have forgot about that, much like Bobby Lashley, was missing from the entire card of SummerSlam that should have been an odds-on favorite, Asuka.
Oh.
She was missing him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, this brings a question. Why would you not want to bring Bobby Lashley's your guy? You wanted this to happen. Going to
They
treat
wanted
him
it
like
to happen.
Roman and Cena. You're going to shove him down our throats until we like him, but he's missing from this card. Asuka, who is nothing but over, is just gone.
You bring up Asuka. I think Ember Moon.
I think Ember Moon would be a fantastic addition to that.
Just bringing up Asuka. That's the first other woman I think of.
Yeah.
They had a great rivalry in NXT.
They absolutely did. That's a good one. Yeah, Ember Moon could be great. And the thing about this Evolution, we don't have that many women. We're definitely going to have to pull some NXT ladies
Definitely.
to have a full-on pay-per-view. So we can't get too saturated.
And that's probably the best thing too, to help promote the next people they want to bring up.
Couldn't agree more. And they could do very well in the undercard.
Absolutely.
But then we got to take it back to it because the Bellas just keep popping up. So they're going to be a part of Evolution. There's other rumors coming up for Evolution. We're talking about they're talking about Trish Stratus.
Well, I wouldn't doubt that they would have them make appearances.
They, I don't hear anything about Lita coming in. Kind of surprising. I thought she would be one of their go-tos. Mm-hmm. They are talking about Beth Phoenix, which I was always a fan of the Glamazon. We got a lot of choices here for Evolution, but we're also getting ahead of the game because before we do that, we got Hell in the Cell. And I'm looking for Hell in the Cell to be a barn burner. Usually Hell in the Cell does not disappoint. So I'm looking forward to that.
I had some nitpicks about the show and all.
Lay on me.
Stuff I didn't even mention last month. I just forgot to. I will say, I told you about this before we started recording. So, this is all streaming on WWE's own network.
Yeah.
This is all on their own time. They're setting the schedule. So why did they feel like they were so crunched for time that they ran promos for the main events during the prelim matches?
Yeah.
In the middle. Dropped out the sound, dropped it to a tiny box in the corner, ran promos for the matches on the actual card.
I'm glad you brought that up because
Yeah.
I didn't write it down, but that was something that bothered me.
Annoying. You're having these matches, and you've been running promos for the upcoming matches in between all of them. You had three matches on this kickoff show to showcase these talents, and then you still took away their time.
It really took away
and
from
ran
the match.
commercials in the middle of them.
Do they really think that people are just going to watch the kickoff, hear them plug the main event and the feature matchups, and they go, all right, good night, everybody.
To watch this, you have to have the network. You have to be watching on the network. You're in.
Yeah.
You're in for this show. You're not gonna go, oh, this I was expecting like Samoa Joe and AJ Styles now. Well, goodbye. No, the other thing was something I meant to mention in the last show was they need someone to be they need more of the proper heel face dynamic in the commentary. Again, they need a good heel commentator.
I got a lot of problems with the commentary.
Because it was very apparent this show that
I did write
there is whoever is it what's his name who's playing the designated heel.
That would be Corey Graves.
Corey Graves, because he, like all the other ones, they keep it very proper sports announcer style, low key, and then so he'll slip in these kind of like the heel supportive statements, right at the end. You need the guy who's just like, no, what the heel's doing right now is genius. Here's why. Here's how it works. It doesn't matter. Rules don't. He's winning. That's what matters. Like.
Yeah.
I needed to be more overt in that sense because it does get you hyped when it's going right.
Right. Speaking of the announcers, commentators, sorry. During one of the matches, I believe it was AJ and Samoa Joe. I believe it was Samoa Joe who kicked AJ in the calf, maybe vice versa. Either way, whoever it was said, Joe kicked AJ in the calf bone. And immediately,
in the calf bone.
What's that connected to?
Immediately gets criticized for it.
Yeah.
Calf's not a bone, it's muscle.
I've got a million problems with the commentary. Number one, we don't need three commentators.
No.
Period.
Never.
You need one good straight man and you need one color.
Yes.
That's it.
It doesn't matter so much that one is play-by-play anymore, but you're right. One needs to be like,
Yeah.
well, that's not right. He's clearly, going against the rules of the match. And the other guy's going, who cares?
Yeah, no, and I think that they're under the impression is, well, this guy is not a very good commentator, and this guy is not, he's not going to win any awards either. If we add a third one, maybe this will all work itself out.
Despite the fact that all their international teams are two-man?
And what was with the crazy, I liked them, but the suits that they were wearing. The crazy blue suit, the crazy red suit, I don't know.
Oh, well, that was to represent this is a dual show.
So
Raw versus SmackDown. Yeah.
Okay, so that's what they're doing?
Yeah.
Okay. Could just say that.
Right on. So, guys, we're going to have to wrap this up because we have run out of time. And Tyler, fantastic job, buddy.
Thank you.
Way more prepared than we are ever going to be on this show.
Oh, no.
I wanted to be prepared. I enjoyed it.
I'm
I thank you for having me. For the very first guest.
Yeah, very first guest, and I
Nepotism.
want you to come back anytime you want to. This has been a lot of fun. Chris, how you doing over there? You got anything?
I'm good.
Okay,
Can't wait to come back and do it.
right on. Okay, guys, for Chris Villano, number 27 Barnes, and Tyler Nicholson.
Did I move
this
up or down in the rank?
doesn't matter.
I feel like it does.
This is David Two Dogs Hayes saying, if you woke up this morning, got out of bed, had a job to go to, and had somebody that cares about you when you get home, folks, this match is over and you just won via pinfall. Thank you for listening to This Is a Work.
Thank you for listening to the SummerSlam 2018 edition of This Is a Work. If you get a chance, please give a listen to our sister show, Long Walk Talks. And if you've enjoyed listening to us, you can leave us a rating and a review on whatever platform you're listening on. Thank you very much.